Let's take a look at what's going on in Hosea because it is confusing. The Lord has an indictment against Judah and will punish Jacob according to his ways and requite him according to his deeds.
Well, Mr. O'Brien, maybe I missed something, but I don't remember this guy named Judah and this guy named Jacob. Why is the Lord mad at them?
You have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob wrestles with an angel, and his name is changed to Israel, he who wrestles with God. This is back in Genesis that we read this story. One of Jacob's sons is Judah. But what does this mean metaphorically? Jacob, also called Israel, is in a sense the father of Israel, the nation, the northern kingdom. Judah is the namesake and sort of the patriarch of the southern kingdom named Judah or Judea, Judea meaning of Judah. So God is angry not just personally at Jacob and Judah, who've been dead for many hundreds of years by this point. He's angry at the people they represent. So when he talks about what Jacob did, everything he says about Jacob can be applied to Jacob's descendants in the northern kingdom, the people in Israel, or Ephraim, as it is called. What were some of the things Jacob did? In the womb, he took his brother by the heel, and in his manhood, he strove with God. What? Well, look it up at Bible Hub. Here's the cross-reference, Genesis 25:26. In fact, here's the context, Genesis 25:26. When her time came to give birth, there were indeed twins in her womb. The first one came out red, covered with hair like a fur coat, so they named him Esau, meaning red. After this, his brother came out grasping Esau's heel, so he was named Jacob, and Isaac was 60 years old when the twins were born. Jacob, if you look at the footnotes, means, by the way, if you want to look at belly fat, you got the ad. Jacob means he grasped the heel, or he deceives. It can mean either. So that in the womb, he took his brother by the heel. Jacob had a twin, Esau. Esau comes out first. He should inherit everything. Jacob grabbed him by the heel, and then that sense was pursuing him and already had sibling rivalry even in the womb. Later, Jacob tricks Isaac into giving him his blessing and really the patrimony, because he disguises himself and makes his father, Isaac, who's dying and who is blind, think that he is Esau. So Jacob is a deceiver, and he's quickly following on the heels of his brother, quite literally out of the womb. This is a reference to the fact that Jacob was not the best character, even though he is the father of the patriarchs, the 12 tribes. He was a deceiver, and you couldn't trust him. God continues. He strove with the angel. In the womb, he took his brother by the heel, and in his manhood, he strove with God. He strove with the angel and prevailed. He wept and sought his favor. He met God at Bethel, and there God spoke with him. Well, you'd have to look those two up because the footnote here doesn't really help. I won't click on the link. So sometimes you have to go to other sources to get good footnotes. Jacob strives with the angel at Peniel or Penuel, and his name is changed to Israel, but at Bethel, he has the dream of Jacob's ladder. So I won't go into detail about everything it refers to in Genesis. But knowing you guys well enough, you're going to get confused. You're going to say, I don't get it. Right? I mean, who would? This is difficult stuff. I don't mean to be making fun of you. In order to get it, you have to put in the time and effort to look at footnotes and try to figure it out. Or you read the Bible enough that when God complains about Jacob grabbing the heel of his brother and wrestling with an angel and so forth and so on, you know the context because you remember those stories, especially since they're famous stories. And Protestants, at least, hear them in Sunday school, although that usually doesn't happen with Catholics. So if you don't have a general grasp of scriptural literature, you're going to have to look it up. This is why you should always be reading the Bible, because the more you read about Jacob, And the more you'll understand when God talks to Hosea about Jacob, many, many, many books later, what God means. He's meaning you can't really trust the guy who founded the northern kingdom, or the guy after whom the northern kingdom is named, after whom really my whole people are named. You can't really trust him. He was a deceiver from the beginning. I spoke with him at Bethel. He wrestled with an angel, but he's been a problem, and I'm going to make him suffer, meaning not him, because he's dead in heaven, we assume, but he's dead on earth. He means his ancestors. It would be like saying, it would be like the Russians saying,
I'm going to make Uncle Sam suffer.
Uncle Sam is the cartoon representative of the United States. He stands for the entire country of the USA. So if you say, I'm going to make him suffer, I'm going to make Uncle Sam suffer, you're talking about the whole country. When God says, I'm going to make Jacob suffer for his misdeeds, he's not just talking about Jacob. He's talking about particularly the northern kingdom, but also he's talking about his whole people. I hope that helped. You know, the more I teach this, and this is my last semester teaching this, the more I realize, well, of course you guys aren't going to get it, and you shouldn't be expected to get it. And teachers who think you ought to get it are just themselves foolish, really, if you get right down to it. Okay, I'm done. Later, I'm going to play my invisible nose whistle. I'm going to play, it's not quite invisible anymore. I'm going to play something about, I'm sure there's a hymn about Jacob wrestling with the angel or seeing his ladder, Jacob's ladder in Bethel. But I'm going to do that on my own time.